Alright, what's going on YouTube? Back at you in another video. Alright, so today we're gonna talk about anime, right? Anime, fitness, gym, all things I love very much, right? I posted something on IG earlier today about, what fictional character, anime character kind of inspired you to get stronger, start on your self-improvement journey. So I wanted to talk about that and just it's like some characters that like really definitely motivated me on this journey. Let's start with one of my favorites, right? And it's a little personal because My Hero Deku, I remember I had a very good friend. Um, he basically put us on My Hero, and I was the biggest Deku hater. I mean, I was like, oh, he just cries. He's a bitch all the time. I was the biggest Deku hater. That's how I started. And it's funny because the first manga volume I ever bought was also My Hero. Volume one. Yeah, that's crazy too. But I used to always just clown Deku. I just hated him. But then one day I was like, you know what? Cause I was reading the manga, like this is cool. So I just decided to like rewatch the anime. Then I read the manga, and my God, man, this nigga Deku. Like the thing about Deku is, one, he's an OG retard maxer, right? Which, going through this journey, making these videos now, retard maxing is very important. Like, honestly, I still have no idea what I'm doing. I just make these videos, but sometimes you just have to start, and everything's kind of just gonna work out. You might not know the perfect gym routine, but if you go into the gym, get consistent, you might meet someone. They'll teach you how to work out. Things just happen when you put some inputs in. Be actionable. But another thing too that I really respect about Deku is this nigga really cares. I'll never forget the muscular scene. He's just fucking, he's breaking his arms and he's just breaking it for someone that he's never met. Like that scene is just like peak heroism, but just really standing on business, honestly, because that's what makes Deku so special. This nigga stands on business, and for you to get lean or to get muscle, you gotta be consistent in all environments, all aspects, long enough. I find the more I do this journey, it makes you a lot more authentic, and that's how a lot of anime characters are. The flat characters like Luffy, Naruto, they're very consistent. The world around them, other characters, they're different. They'll go through changes, but they've always been like they grow, of course. But you guys know what I mean. Like they're consistent. You have that scene with Deku, but then one of the favorites. Oh my God, when he's like the 100 infinite percent when he's fighting Overhaul. You guys don't understand how fucking crazy Deku is. This nigga's not normal. He was basically destroying his body so fast so that Eri could rewind. Fucking crazy shit. So he has to basically output 100%, break his limbs at a certain ratio so Eri can heal him so he can keep doing that. That's not normal shit, bro. That's not normal shit. But one of my favorite quotes from that scene is he's like, if I can't save a little girl in front of me, like how can I expect to be a number one hero? But what I take from that scene now, it's like we have all these crazy extravagant goals. How do you expect to get there if you can't conquer gluttony, if you can't conquer lust, you can't do the basic things, you can't show up consistently for yourself, That scene always, that was always my interpretation. And Deku's just, man, there's a lot of go-to Deku moments, honestly. But probably my favorite moment, it's one of the first. There's so much. I can make a whole video probably alone, but, it's when they're at the training academy and, Deku's got no points, so he's trying to get a point. But then that robot comes, like, that no one can really defeat. But he sees Uraka, she can't move. And everyone's running away, and Deku's like, oh, that's the nice girl. And man, everyone's running this way. Deku goes that way. So that's another thing, too, this journey teaches you. Everyone's going out, drinking, doing all this bullshit. So when you go the other direction, like, it's admirable when you go, the other direction. So he stops, lunges, and then fucking does the first smash of the series, too, man. That's a very good moment, too, Because that's another thing, too, about this journey. Getting lean, building muscle, eating the right foods, like, it's the right thing to do because you're helping yourself, which is going to allow you to help other people. And that's admirable. That's respectable. Now, we're going to talk about another character now. This is someone Actually, I was rewatching recently. I finished it a little long ago. I'm reading the manga now, but apparently the anime is going to drop in October, so I might just wait for that. But Takamichi Hanagaki. No, if you don't know what that is, watch Tokyo Revengers right now. But this Takamichi has balls of steel, and everyone always says he's not strong, but he tries. He's got a good heart. You know, he cares. And that's another thing too. This journey has taught me it's gonna make you see certain people, but anyone, like, even if they're a big back, like if they're in the gym and they're trying, you can't clown them for that. And anyone clown them for that, like, you're just cooked. Like, you're actually the lowest of the low. But there's so much moments in Tokyo Revenge where, like, damn, like Takamichi, like that's respectable, because he's literally fighting people, like, and it doesn't make sense because he can't fight, right? But he's still trying. He's going against people way stronger than him, but he grits his teeth and he still tries, and that's admirable because that makes you, when you're going through shit, you know, and that's what I recognize too. Anime, I respect it a lot more now when you're going through the journey, because you really see the stuff they're going through. They might be, you know, all the powers and all that stuff, so it looks cool, but they're going through the same things that you're going through, you know. Literally, you know, Takamichi has to confront his, like, weakness, like, daily. You know, it's really good, but there's just a ton of scenes where it's just like, wow, like this nigga stands all business. He's not afraid. 'Cause that's the thing too. You know, it's admirable. It's admirable to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. People don't understand. Even the attempt to get lean, that is admirable too. You know, if you're working out consistently, like, I know we get to the point where we stop patting ourselves on the back, but I'm making this video to remind you, like, you're fucking locked in. Good shit. Keep going. Because the people clowning you for doing this journey, they're probably never gonna do it. So because they're never gonna do it, and they're not going through it, they're not gonna get it. They don't understand how impressive it is, right? That's another thing too. To bounce back on My Hero real quick, there's one more scene, and it's that war arc when, like, they're fighting Shigaraki the first time, not the second time, but like Shigaraki's going crazy. He almost kills Gran Torino. You know, Race has to cut off his leg, and I'll never forget. There's a scene of Deku, and it's like that black dude. What's his name? Black Rocker. I forgot. Someone comment if you know what I'm talking about. He's got the dreads. He's like Jamaican, I think. But he's like, Deku, get out here. Deku's like, no, like, I'm not, like, Deku wants all the smoke. But that, like, when you grit your teeth and you're like, I don't care. I'm gonna do this shit. I don't care if I get 2 hours of sleep, 1 hour of sleep. I don't care if it's fucking snowing. I don't care if it's raining cats and dogs. I'm going to get my step going. You need that obsession and, like, dedication to keep moving forward, right? That's gonna lead to another character. Eren Yeager. My dog, Eren Yeager. See, the reason I respect Eren so much is because, see, with this spiritual self-improvement journey, all the stuff I talk about, or people talk about, it's going to happen to you too, right? So I always say, everyone, they have the founding time, right? You can see into the future, because if you lock in and raise your standards, these things are going to happen to you. When you conquer gluttony, you will be lean, whether you want to or not, because you've overcome gluttony. You've destroyed gluttony. That has to manifest in our reality with you being leaner. You have a muscle, your waist being narrow. That's how that shit works. That shit's very real. But with Eren, it's like he knows everything that's gonna occur, and he still does it. So when you decide to pick up that dumbbell, especially if you keep going after you know these things are gonna happen to you, that's also respectful. That's commendable too, because you know your circle's gonna get smaller. You're gonna have to cut off people. You're probably gonna have to break up with your girl, whatever. But you're gonna have to make tough choices, and you still decide to keep moving forward. That's also admirable, you know. And that trait, and then that's why anime too. It's like all these characters, they're going through crazy shit, and they keep going. It's like some David Goggins shit later. They keep going. They keep doing it. How can you not be motivated? I see why there's so much Jack leaves now. Because I'm telling you, it's when you see the stuff they go through. And not to mention another character, Naruto Uzumaki. Definitely one of my favorites. And then I'm going to talk about one more, because it's a little more, it's not as common, but it's one of my favorite. But Naruto Uzumaki. No one, I don't care what anyone says. No one can say that the pain arc is not, the pain arc is still the best arc in the whole series. Because Naruto had every reason to really burn the world down, right? And it's funny because that's kind of the whole thing. Naruto and Pain, they're foils because that's basically what Naruto could have ended up as. Literally, the more you kind of think about it. But Naruto goes through all that hurt, all that pain with the Nine Tails, ends up befriending him, and saves the village. I will never forget. Like he does the Shinra Tensei, the village is like cooked, and Sakura's like crying, the whole anime spiel where they're yelling the main character, and she's like, Naruto, where are you? And then you hear the and then the fucking, he appears on top of the toads. He's got the perfect, and it's funny how they hone on his eyes, because if anyone knows, you can tell like from the eyes and the markings if someone's master stage mode. So you can see Naruto came back, he's him. That's another thing too. I don't know how long Naruto trains to get stage mode, but it's a good amount of span. Basically, during that span, remember he's on SR, he's meditating all the time, right? So he's got to fight, all those inner demons, all that stuff too, He's doing all those things. So when he comes back from doing all that, it makes sense. He's so much stronger now, right? And then he's got to basically bear all the hatred of pain. Even that too, the scene after when he talks to Naruto, also very goated. But Naruto just being able to do that, and that's another thing too. And this is a hot take, but Talk no Jutsu is actually genius. You see, the reason Talk no Jutsu works is because a lot of characters in Naruto are hypocrites. Not even that, it's just, they might say one thing, but their actions don't always reflect it. Which is why Talk no Jutsu works, because Naruto's the only person that's consistent. See, what you're going to find with self-improvement is a lot of people are LARPing this shit. A lot of people, they're not about it. So when you start doing all the right things, and they're saying the same things too, but then you're doing it and they're not, they might clown you. They might think, oh, you're better. All a bunch of crazy stuff. But that's what Naruto kind of does with Talk no Jutsu. So he's calling people out on their bullshit, which is why it works. That might be, that shouldn't be a hot take, but I've never had an issue with Talk no Jutsu. Now, another character, we'll probably do one more, but now I have kind of like timer, so I don't yap for too long, but another character, if anyone's seen Gintama, Sakata Gintoki. Gintoki is a really good example of how, you go through so much shit in life, and rather than giving up, you just decide to keep going, keep fighting, and then you're gonna find more reasons to kind of like literally exist, because we all go through shit. I know some of y'all listening have probably been through some really fucked up things, but what I learned from Gintoki is you just have to, you gotta bear it. You have to bear it, because if anyone knows, like, I won't spoil Gintama, just watch it, but Gintoki has a really, I don't mean really, like, dark path. Like what he had to do basically, oh my goodness, because it's like four of them basically, and they're called like the four heavenly kings or four divas, and they have like a master, and it's a bunch of stuff, but it's really good. But the shit Gintoki's been through, man, oh my goodness, it's why the rage scenes, that's the thing too. I find when you do this journey more and more, you get angry, but in a good way. You get angry at yourself, because now you understand how important it is to hold yourself to high standards. When you don't do that, you recognize, okay, that's the problem. We have to fix that. We have to rectify that. But man, there's a lot of goated Gintama scenes, because it's like a comedy, but then like when it gets serious, when shit hits the fan, shit hits the fucking fan. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of, I had one more. I use just Japanese videos. They're not always planned out. But okay, of course, how can I forget? Monkey D. him, Monkey D. Luffy, Even though I'm not comping One Piece, but I'm not too far behind. I'm gonna catch up soon, I promise. But Luffy, that's another retard maxer, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the thing too. Luffy just good spirited, he and that's the thing. Luffy is very simple. He just helps other people. He wants to be free and do his own thing. So when he sees people that one of my favorite scenes. Oh my goodness, I'll never forget. It was like I was in high school. This is why I'm watching One Piece, week to week, and it's Dressrosa, right? Fucking, I love Dressrosa, but I will never forget, because that fight, when they get to the top and fucking. Before we get to that scene, when fucking like Law is fighting, but he loses, and Doflamingo's about to fucking crush him, and then Luffy like stops him and holds. Oh my god, I have to go to see it, but I will never forget. You know, Luffy throws off his sandals. You know, does the, and then he says Gear 4 episode at Pikachu. I was like, fuck. I was like, no way. Oh my, I remember it was going crazy. Like, oh my goodness. And then the episode after that, where he actually does the transformation, right? Because Luffy looks hella ridiculous, right? Looks crazy as shit, right? He's doing the Bound Man thing. And then Doflamingo's laughing at him. So he starts laughing, and then, he does a and then punches Doflamingo. This nigga flies through like 12 buildings. I was like, holy shit. Like, man, like, but that's another thing too. The thing about Luffy, like, doing the right thing, that's another thing Luffy teaches you, because the shit Doflamingo's doing was hella fucked up. But just doing the right thing, like, standing for a good cause, and then being consistent with that regardless of what happens, that's admirable, And we can all learn a lot from that. And this is something I had to go through recently, where you have to cut some people off because you recognize, like, their behaviors. It's things that, like, I know I wouldn't do. I know the people in my community wouldn't do. I also know anime characters wouldn't do too. Like, they're not two-faced like that, Like, they stand on business. Like it's very basic things, guys. But I'm telling you, a lot of people are really fake. And let me tell you, right? I want you to think about your circle. I'm gonna ask you a question. If this person were to call you at 4 a.m. and they were like, I need a ride, would you go there without any questions asked? Yes or no? If you have to think about it, that's not a friend. That's someone you know, but that's not a friend. See, a friend for me, and this is why my circle's so small, a friend is someone you would do that for, but that you would take a bullet for in a heartbeat, no questions asked, literally. Because when your standards are that high, you're gonna thoroughly vet people. But that's the thing too. People, they're gonna show you. You're gonna go through things. You're gonna see people's true colors. But when shit hits the fan, and those day ones are still there. That's why your day ones are important. Take care of them, by the way. But that's why your day ones are so important, because when you get to the end of this journey, even though there's no end, but when you get deep into the journey, and you start getting results from it. Make sure you take care of your day ones. Take care of the people around you. Honestly, getting lean. It's taught me that too, because I know if I can inspire one person, help one person, one person not be diabetic, not have insulin resistance, do all that, that's worth it. It's worth making these videos. It's worth posting on IG. It's worth doing all these things if we could save one person. That's what you learn from Deku too, because just saving one person, that makes it worth it. Because if you weren't there, that person might have offed themselves. They might have, they might have to amputate their leg. Like, people really don't think about that. Which is why this journey is so important, because it really teaches you that it's not even about being a good person. It's just doing the right thing, right? Having a good moral compass. And anime teaches you that too, The shit Deku does for other people. He literally broke his fingers for Todoroki, and then he broke them again. Just to show him that he's not like, it's his power, it's not his dad's power. That shit, like, how can you not be motivated by that? It's like, that's why anime is so powerful. Because all the stuff they go through, you're also gonna go through, Naruto had to battle the Nine Tails, you're gonna battle gluttony and lust, because the Nine Tails, quite literally, if Naruto didn't control it, would have destroyed the village and himself. But he controlled it, so it became an asset. Because when you have mastered gluttony, remember that becomes an asset too, because your standards get so high, and as a consequence, you're confident. You stay on business. You're also way healthier. There are benefits to conquering less. Gluttony too, because they're intertwined. But there are benefits, to facing those demons, conquering them, and making sure they have no control over you. And that's another thing too. Another go to anime, by the way. Hunter x Hunter, the whole Netero. And this is, tell me I'm wrong. If an anime character has any semblance of the Buddha, or they do this pose and you see the 1,000 hands, you already know they're OP, right? But I'll never forget, there's that scene, right, where Netero, like, he does like the 10,000 punches. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a reference to like the Bruce Lee thing, but it's punches instead of kicks. But on like the 1,000th punch or whatever, it's like faster than sound. And then when he goes back to the dojo, they're like, what the fuck happened? But I don't know how long he was training for before, he got to that point, but that's a sign too, if you really keep going, don't stop. You know, you keep every day, you dedicate yourself to be better. You know, in 10 years of doing that, where will you be? That's another thing too. You know, Jinwoo, Goku, you know, they'll kind of show you if you dedicate daily, get 1% better, but compound that over a very long period of time, where are you going to be? Because for me, I'm like, okay, with these standards, if I eat this way for 10 years, how much weight will I be moving? You know, how will I look? Those things excite me, so that's why I'm going to keep going. Honestly, I could really talk about this forever, but I know the video's getting pretty long. But if you made it this far, of course, comment, you know, what anime character kind of motivated you to kind of get started or continues to motivate you while in this journey. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people, they're going to clown you, but they don't get it. Like, what people don't get is anime saves probably people from suicide. Literally, I know that's a thing. But, you know, it's definitely helped me. And, like, really, especially My Hero, but a bunch of anime, you know. It's definitely helped me when you're like, damn, you're going through stuff. It's like, you know, you keep going because Deku didn't quit, you know, Naruto didn't quit. You know, occasionally I'll have those thoughts, but that helps you go. That's what you need sometimes. Sometimes, you know, the discipline muscle is enough. You gotta think, you know, about, you know, I'll think of like some David Goggins shit or, you know, people in my community, you know, or something. But sometimes you need that, and that's okay. But yeah, guys, stay locked in, stay blessed. You know, continue to do the right things. You know, stay diligent, stay intentional, do the right thing. And yeah, till the next one, guys, stay locked in.